And we're live. Welcome to the internet. How you
I
doing?
think you're just trying to do a low voice. I
Yeah,
think you're
to
just trying to do a
cover
low
up,
voice to cover up for that high voice you had
cover
earlier.
up for my. Where was it?
Oh yeah, can you do the intro with that?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I can.
Here. Welcome to Take It Down a Notch with Rob.
And Lindsay. Oh my gosh, it just cracks me up.
I think this should
Am I
be my
loud enough?
mansplaining voice. See, what you don't
Yes.
understand is
I think that God should just, I think God should just change it so like immediately when a man starts mansplaining, his voice box changes to that.
Just constricts the throat.
Well, do you like my voice today? I don't know if you can hear much of it, but do you like my voice today?
You're looking. You're sounding quite sultry,
Yeah, is
man.
quite yeah. I've sounded like a teenage boy for the last week.
You're not squeaking, so that's
If
good.
anyone could hear me at all, it was teenage boy. Even my classes on Tuesday were like, see, like immediately, like their first reaction to me was, "Oh, you have a little bit of a broken voice."
A little bit of a broken
I was like,
voice.
"Thanks." Yeah, that's how it translates is broken voice.
Yeah.
And all of my teachers, I was like, "Yeah, I'm sporting the teenage boy," and they all laughed at that.
My testosterone treatments are
So,
going well, and
yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm hitting about, what is it, 15 on getting out of puberty.
there you go. Perfect.
So right where I'm at.
Uh,
No, so for the podcasters, for the listeners, so mom, who already knows, I got sick the day that mom got there. So mom got here last Monday, and I was sick. I woke up and I was like, I'm sick. And I remember waking up early and I was like, I'm sick. And I was like, Hugo was awake too. I don't remember why. And he's like, no, Lindsay, calm down. You're not sick. You'll feel better. Just get a little bit more sleep. We're going to wake up in a few hours. And I woke up and I turned to him and I was like, I'm sick. And so, and I've never lost my voice like this before, but by Wednesday night, even Wednesday was like starting to hurt. Wednesday night, I was like at our life group and I was like, so everybody, but okay, I really think that God loves us so much. So bad. And then Thursday was all day French, um, family dinner after family dinner. And yeah, I almost did not have a voice on Thursday. I felt so bad.
uh,
It wasn't really until I think Saturday is when I started to feel like I had more energy. But really, from Tuesday to Friday, Saturday, I was pushing through. I was like on like zero energy the whole time. It really sucked because it was like the one week I had with mom. But other than that, our trip went really well. Other than if you took out the sickness, our trip went really well. We did a lot, and for having a trip that was supposed to be relaxing, we did way more than we should have, of course. Like mom and I's day out in Nantes, we walked like 12 miles.
yeah.
Not really. It was
Nobody's
12
nobody's
kilometers.
buying this relaxing trip baloney. You did not plan any relaxing trip. Mom had some time by
We were
herself.
supposed to.
She had time by herself on Monday when you went to work, when she got there and recovered,
Tuesday.
or Tuesday.
Tuesday.
That's it. You guys were on full run and had it scheduled for full run the whole time. Nobody's buying this.
Wednesday. Wednesday, we were supposed to sleep in, and we did until like 8.
Yeah. No, I'm not buying this. You guys had 2 weeks worth of stuff planned in a week. Two full
We definitely
French
did. We
dinners
had
in
a
one
trip.
in one
We
day.
told, yeah, long, like 4, 5 course meals, and
Yeah.
two, like 5 course meals in one day is not healthy. And Yeah. Oops, I just like moved my microphone. Um, yeah, it was a lot. We also had a road trip that should have been a 4-day road trip in 2 days.
Yeah.
And that actually went really well, I think. And it was funny because Lena's parents were like, "You're not gonna be able to do that in 2 days." And we're like, "Yeah, we will." We're like, "Oh yeah, totally. Why not?" So Hugo's a trooper. He did a lot of driving. We went and we visited one of the Normandy beaches, and the American Cemetery, which was really cool. It was really cool to see. We went to the visitor center, which was really cool. I
Nice.
guess that spot is like technically U.S. soil, so that was kind of interesting. It definitely felt U.S. Told mom that the two reasons why you could tell it was U.S. soil is that there was two different bathrooms um, within like 5 minute walk of each other, as well
So
as
not
the
like not
security
like
was
not like
extremely
one
strict.
woman's and one men's, like two sets of bathrooms.
Two sets of bathrooms, big bathrooms too, in like a 5 minute walk from each other. Very unfrench of them. And there was, and not only like one of them was two different buildings, like, or it was four different buildings. There was a building for women's, a building for women's, and then a buildings for men and buildings for men. There was multiple stalls. There was so many, which makes sense because in tourist season, I bet this is just like crazy,
Yeah.
and it's not really near much, so it totally makes sense. I'm happy that I'm not complaining at all. It's great, but then they also have one inside the visitor center, um, which seemed pretty big. I didn't go, um, but also the security was extremely strict. French security is so relaxed, even for like the Taylor Swift concert. There was like tens of thousands of people there, and the security was like, so like just nothing, like no one cares. Like people will kind of like we went to another place and they like kind of felt the bottom of your bag and like looked on the inside. And that's it. We're like, this one was like, okay, open up this pocket, open up this pocket. Okay, you have a pocket there. Can you show me that pocket? Okay, this, like absolutely everything, which is a good thing
Was it
because
was it French
it
doing the security?
is
Was it French people doing the security, or was it
it was French people,
okay?
um, but there were you could tell that they had, which is good because I would imagine that would be I can't imagine that that would be a place where a terrorist would go just because
Like
that seems so
yeah,
crazy to me.
yeah.
But I can also see the point where it could be a target or
Make a
just
statement.
somebody coming and doing something stupid, but
Yeah,
trying to make a statement.
yeah. Be a good place to make a
So
statement
it does
if they
make,
do that.
yeah, it does make sense. And it's a good thing. I'm definitely not complaining. It's just I could immediately tell the difference. I was like, whoa. Probably kind of a coincidence. But the visitor center itself was just really, I think cool is almost like the wrong word, but
Yeah.
just so well done. And then to go and see like the 9,000 crosses, like
Wow.
of people who sacrificed their lives. Um, and just, it's reminded me of the Arlington Cemetery
Mm-hmm.
in DC.
Yeah.
And it made me realize just, I remember thinking this too when I went to the Arlington Cemetery. I was like 12,
Mm-hmm.
but the Arlington Cemetery is huge,
Yeah.
huge. If 9,000 people were at the place we were at in Omaha Beach,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, it felt like not even like, it felt like this much compared to the Arlington Cemetery.
Yeah.
It just was really, really astounding. And it was a beautiful picture,
Mm-hmm.
like beautiful representation
Mm-hmm.
of all the lives, and to see like they did a really good job of like doing all these short stories of like all these different scenarios that had happened around D-Day,
Wow.
and it was really cool. It was just so well done. Um, so we went there. We did not visit any of the other beaches just because, like, that in itself would have been days upon days.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why we were able to do it so quick. We really went just to we drove all the way there, like 2.5 hours to go to the Arlington Cemetery, or no, the American Cemetery, the visitor center. And then we drove like a few minutes to go to like the beach itself.
Right.
and to walk on the beach and see like this big monument.
Hmm.
And then we left. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
quite the drive for one thing, but it was so worth it. It was really cool. I think if you were to come, I think we would definitely think about doing like maybe all of the beaches. But I
Yeah.
don't know if doing like multiple days. I don't know how people would do like a tour and go to that over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot.
Yeah.
So
I
I don't
don't.
know.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. I've heard of people that have done like their grandfathers and stuff were at D-Day, and that they excuse me, they went to the beach where their grandfather or whatever had come ashore, and then kind of did the tour of where they went. You know, they had their orders and their stuff, and and to go from kind of town to town uh, into Paris or whatever, and they kind of just followed that route around. Um, to
That's
kind of
such a beautiful way to do it, especially
yeah,
since like a lot of I didn't realize. I think it just made me realize how many people didn't just come up on the beach, but like
hmm,
came before and like came from the sky. And
yeah,
I guess I've never really thought about how it wasn't just all from the beach
yeah.
and it was so planned out. Um, where like I think my ignorance around it was like not realizing how planned out it was
Well,
and
it's
how like there was a story about how somebody was like in a tree pretending to be dead while there's Germans around and he's just hanging in a tree on a parachute and
hmm,
he can't get out of his parachute. Like just things like that where it was like there's just so
yeah,
many so complex.
yeah. Well,
But
and you know,
yeah.
with what is the um with what we know as far as radar and satellites and all that stuff, you couldn't get away with that type of invasion, surprise invasion like that. Um,
No.
today. So it's getting kind of hard to even think about that. That many people were gathering offshore. You know, a day away. And
Yeah,
12 hours or whatever was away. Because it came in the dark basically and early
right.
morning. That many ships and that many people um,
Yeah.
were hidden.
Well, it's like to the point they thought that it was going to happen in a totally different part of France, hours
Right,
away. And I guess at some point, I don't remember if this was just something mom, I don't remember where mom got this, if it was from the museum or not. But I guess that for a while, Hitler had like people guarding that because his astronomers had said that's where they're going to attack.
right,
But then after a while, he, got more and more cuckoo
yeah.
and he
Well,
moved them back to
and well,
Calais.
and the beaches in Normandy are not. It's not the ideal place to be. I mean,
No.
The Germans had such an advantage there that it's not the place that you would think
Well,
that it would happen. The only way
and
you
they
could
had
do it
these
is with that many people. Because if you would have went in
yeah.
with smaller
Well, and
force, they would have
they
just
had
been
these,
wiped
like,
out. Goddamn.
huge they had these, like, huge steel they looked like jacks, but, like, huge, like, when you play with, like, the ball and jacks?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like, those things, like, the big cross things.
yeah,
They look like just, like, as if God was playing with, like, the I can't remember what it's called, but that's what they
yeah.
look like,
Playing
like, they're just
jacks. Yeah,
huge. And
yeah,
they just rip apart boats.
yeah,
And, like, they had those everywhere, like, just scattered all along.
yeah.
So,
And
even
barbed
though the
wire
beach
and
wasn't
just
easy to get to, but then they had that and they had the barbed wire. They were no, it was really cool to see.
yeah.
Um, it's so your the perspective of war here is so much different.
I
And
would guess.
it's just there's a different perspective. It's different when you walk around and you go, "Oh yeah, this is a newer building because of the war. This is older. This is
Yeah,
pre-war." Or like, "Oh, what was happening? This was an area that was, you know, like mom was talking about how like she was so surprised that the French were so happy that the Americans came, even though the Americans destroyed everything.
right.
But it's
Well,
really because like the Germans had already destroyed everything
yeah. Most
and they
everything
had
was already.
destroyed their souls and torn apart families and killed their men and lied to them and you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
came into their homes and forced themselves to sleep in their homes. Um, you know, so it's just like that at that point, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it just is, it's a different perspective.
Well, and
So, but here,
especially for us on the West Coast, we have no,
yeah,
yeah, we have, Fort Casey and stuff like that that are places where the military is or was, but no battles really happened there.
no,
Thousands of people didn't die on the West Coast from a major battle. I mean, we've had it with the Native Americans
yeah,
a little bit, but there's no evidence of that. I mean, there was no bombings, there was no, that kind of stuff. On
yeah,
the East Coast, you do have the Revolutionary War and in the Civil War, you've got monuments to that, and you've got some stuff
yeah,
to that. But I mean, even there wasn't a lot of infrastructure that was destroyed and rebuilt. You go to Hawaii and you have, the beginning, World War II, and there's buildings there that are still pockmarked from the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. But we just don't have all the big wars were all fought away, and it gives a
yeah,
which is good. I mean,
yeah,
not good to be better if the wars didn't have to be fought in the first place, but the to not have it's not as personal here. It's all away. That happens other places.
yeah.
And so
It's a
I,
different
I would
perspective for
imagine,
sure.
I would imagine that's what like we've had our exchange students I've talked about. It, how how do you feel about because they do U.S. history and stuff, and part of that is World War I and World War II. And how do you feel you know about that? How does that perspective because
Change.
um, just the perspective I would assume in country to country about World War II is different in Europe. The perspective
Yeah,
of World War II as far as U.S. is got to be hugely different than the perspective
yeah,
um, of people in France and Germany and all over. That's just a different
yeah,
you know because it was so much closer and you can see it. When we went to
yeah.
What's Lena's town there on the
Son is
water,
there.
San Jose. You could
They have,
see
yeah,
the,
they have a
the
huge monument in like the middle
yeah,
that's towards and Alina was telling us that the Americans blew up like all of Saint Nazaire, trying to destroy the submarine base there.
yeah,
And they weren't able to destroy the submarine base, but they destroyed the rest of the town. And that
right,
still Americans were looked at like saviors. You'll
yeah,
have what's interesting here that I've noticed and Hugo's noticed, is that like there is not as much of a respect for like veterans. You don't see you barely go up to somebody and go like thank you for your service
mm,
here. Where in the US that's almost a normal thing.
right,
Like quite for me I would say it's pretty normal. You
yeah,
see people with their hats on and you say, "Hey, thank you for your service." There's, military discounts, those kind of things.
yeah,
Um totally. Like that's not I'm not I think that's a good thing. I
yeah,
think that there should be more respect for that in
yeah,
here for the people who are still alive today and the people who aren't, like
yeah,
veterans. And like we definitely see that difference, but there's also a certain amount of respect when it comes to the war and when it comes to Americans. There is a certain amount of respect around days like today, because today's Victory Day.
mm,
So like around days like today or around D-Day,
yeah,
there's certain amounts of respect towards Americans specifically,
yeah,
um,
and
or towards America
and-
that we don't get. They don't
yeah,
love us other times, but when you think about the
they
war,
do
we're still
remember,
their savior. It's like
yeah,
okay, like
yeah,
they do look at us and they're still thankful, and not
yeah,
in a sourpuss way, but like in an actual like, even though this was years ago, you
yeah,
know, you
that's
really
interesting,
saved our hide. Like
yeah,
even it is interesting this like then there's also a dislike of Americans, just like with
oh yeah,
everything. Um, Americans being annoying and loud, just like that kind of
Well,
stuff.
yeah,
But there is still
that's
that
more like
respect.
Washington's dislike for Californians. It's like,
Yeah,
ugh,
exactly.
oh, those
It's the
Californians
same
come
kind
in
of
and
thing
mess
for me.
everything up. Like
Yeah.
that's more like
But deep
it's almost
rooted.
more like a college rivalry type thing is what I feel.
Yeah.
It's not like I hate you and I want to kill you. It's like, ugh, you you guys
Yeah,
you guys are
because that
just
deep rooted
uncouth.
is this like respect.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it's like, yeah, it's just like
So
you're yeah, it's like when you live in, when the fair happens, like, oh, fair people, oh my
yeah,
gosh, but all these
yeah,
extra
exactly.
people messing up the restaurants and causing me to wait an extra cycle at the stoplight. It's that kind of
Seriously.
thing. But
Yeah,
it's not like, you meet somebody, you know that's American one on one. You're like, oh, how you doing? It's not like
yeah, exactly.
shun you.
For
You
the most
you
part.
you have to. You're not allowed in this restaurant because you're a foreigner. You know, kind of a
Yeah.
deal. Yeah, it's.
So, but on that note, because it is Victory Day, like we have the day off today. But
Oh.
they had we have a war memorial to like the soldiers who were lost that were specifically from Reze,
Mm,
and which almost every city has.
right.
And most of the time, it's in or near the church because it's kind of like the center of the town.
Sure.
Um, and so this morning, we were in the apartment and looking out the window, and we noticed we're like, oh, there's like somebody who looks like quite official,
Mm-hmm.
like in his military garb who's coming by. And then slowly, within like 10 minutes, there's, I'd say, at least 20 people,
Mm-hmm.
including the mayor of Reze.
Oh.
And there was people with flags, and they did like a really small mini ceremony. There was like three or four veterans there, probably not from World War II, but most likely from the War of Algeria,
Mm-hmm.
which happened a little bit more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Whose Hugo's grandpa went to Algeria
Oh, okay.
for that war. So it's a French
Mm-hmm.
Algerian war.
Mm-hmm.
So most likely for that, but maybe they didn't look that old though. But anyways, they still came and paid their respects, and it was really cool.
Oh, nice.
Um, so I posted a picture on Facebook, but um, it was like, oh, is that the mayor? So um, it's cool. It's cool that they do that kind of thing. I do think that they're in an everyday basis. There should be a little bit more respect towards veterans.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's more of a cultural thing.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and I
interesting.
do feel like that is where the U.S. is heading, is having less and less respect for veterans. My personal
Yeah,
opinion.
I don't know.
Generally,
I think it kind of comes and goes a little bit, kind of ebbs and flows, a little bit. I think.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think we're kind of. I don't know. I'd have to ask Dad. Uh, Dad would have a
yeah.
better sense for that, I think. But yeah, so you did that, and you did Abbey. Where was the Abbey at?
So we went to Mont Saint Michel, and Mont Saint
Mont Saint
Michel is
Michel,
like one
not
of the
Saint
most
Jean Michel.
visited.
Saint
Mont
Jean Michel
Saint
is a
Michel
winery here. Mont Saint Michel.
Mountain
Mountain.
Saint Michel.
Mhm.
Um, Anyway, we went there, which is one of the most visited places in France after like Paris, the Eiffel Tower, and everything.
Mm.
Which because of that, it was incredibly busy. So a
And
little
it was a
people
holiday
polluted,
weekend
but
for you
really,
guys.
well, that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's May, and May, I can't remember what cheese it is, but here they call it a certain kind of cheese that has like a lot of holes in it. It's not Swiss cheese, but it's something else.
Mm.
Um, because they have 4 holidays in May.
No.
So and all day those are all days that they get off. So yeah, it's kind of a weird, it's a weird month. So we had a holiday last Thursday, we have a holiday this Thursday, which is today, and I don't think we have one next Thursday, but There's one. There's another one. Um, so I don't know. Anyways, maybe it is next Thursday. No, no, it's not. No,
Yeah, Martina asked,
sorry. Okay.
"Do you guys celebrate May Day?" I'm like, not really. Some people will bring flowers, maybe. That's about it. It's not really a thing here.
Well, and May Day for us, it here in France is Labor Day,
Mhm.
um,
Right.
as well as the day where you give people flowers. We give people Lily of the Valley. I know we also have like Pentecost Monday, and then I want to say our other holiday is something to do with Mary. Oh, we have the Ascension of Mary
Uh,
or the Ascension. I thought it was the Ascension. Maybe that's the
that'll be
Assumption of
Ascension.
Mary. I think that's later.
Yeah, probably
I don't
Ascension is
know.
after
We have
Easter.
two different Catholic
30 days
holidays.
or whatever after Easter.
Oh, okay. So Ascension of Jesus.
Jesus.
Jesus. Anyways, that's a Thursday, and that is on the 29th. So we have one more later this month.
Nice.
And then, yeah.
Cool.
Then we have Pentecost, which I'll get school off, but Hugo doesn't have work off
Oh, okay. Cool.
because he works that day for free, and they give
Oh,
all of that money
that's right.
to the needy or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
which is fine, but it's just like so. I think we talked about this on the podcast
Yeah.
already.
It's very
I have no
interesting.
problem giving money to the homeless. I would like to choose where we're sending that money to instead of just giving it to the government. I think that's the thing. But
Yeah. Well, it's the American in you that going and working for free. Just, we don't do that.
yeah, I'm like, excuse me.
We will be paid. Yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine? Could you imagine us doing that in America? Everybody, you either are gonna get the day off or you can work for free. And your companies will get credit for giving this money to the government.
Yeah, they'll get a tax credit for that. Yeah. No,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
a
know if
great
they
deal.
do, but I would assume.
I mean, that's a great
So
deal. Well, in the U.S., definitely would be. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're gonna get thousands of hours of work for free, and you're gonna give all that money to organization, and you're gonna get a tax credit for that. So uh, business
yep.
owners be like,
That's also
yes.
why I don't I don't give my extra cent or 5 cents or whatever to Fred Meyers or Goodwill or whatever it is. I'm like, yeah, you can pay your own taxes. Thank you very much. I'm already giving you enough money. It's okay. I can donate my own money on my own time. It's the
uh,
American in me.
yeah, I don't know. I usually
Well, on
don't
that
give.
note, we should probably end. Do you have anything to add to the podcast? Mom's visit was very fun. I hope mom feels better because I did send home the sickness with her. Please don't get it. Take your immune active.
Yeah,
It was warm. It was cold. It was good. It was a good trip. It
yeah.
was nice having mom here. It's your turn.
Oh well, no, we got one more thing. You guys went to Paris, real quick.
Oh yeah, we did for like 24 hours, and it was really fun.
So you had a fun
Super crazy.
dinner with guitars.
Yeah, we had a super fun dinner. Yeah, with guitarists,
That's probably the
and
part
we
I
had
missed.
fancy food.
Probably the part I was like most sad about missing. That looked like a good, looked like that would
The
have been my
fancy dinner.
jam. That would have been my jam right there.
Yep, and we gave them like a huge tip, and they had to honk the little horn, which was fun. 'Cause whenever they get like a cash tip, they have like they hang it up on top, and they
Oh,
have this horn that they honk. And so we gave them a cash tip at the end because we were there for a while,
nice.
and they had to honk the horn, and which is like a clown horn, so it's super funny. It's
Yeah.
like fun,
Oh.
like classic jazz, and then honk honk. So
uh,
it's
that's
really
cool.
funny.
And then
So
you went to a big church or something.
yeah, we went to the Montmartre, I think it is, which is like the cœur au son de cœur. I don't know. The heart of Jesus is really what it is,
Okay.
apparently. That's what it's supposed to be. And it was really cool. It was just a big church, but in like a really geographical cool spot in Paris because
Oh,
you can like see all of Paris from a certain part of it. Which we didn't go there because it was going to cost us like 20 euros each, which just felt ridiculous. So that's as
wow.
expensive as going up the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, that seems a little ridiculous. We've already seen Paris 360 from the Eiffel Tower. We're fine. But you can see from in front of the church, you have to go up like 500 stairs and you can see all of that, which we did go all the way up and then hang out in this whole like neighborhood area that's cool. It's very artisty, lots of cafes kind of area.
Hmm.
And then spent the whole evening there, went, left the restaurant, went all the way down the stairs, halfway to our hostel, and then realized, oh, we forgot our bag of souvenirs at the restaurant. So then we had to walk all the way back up the stairs and then get the stuff and then walk all the way down. And by then we were both kind of sick.
Wow.
It was not fun. It was really hard. So, and as I like with my sickness, my asthma was like really bad. So I had to like stop a few times. I was like, I'm gonna have an asthma attack. Mom was like, with the alcohol, was like feeling like nauseous. So we were a little bit of a mess by the end of the night. And then we went to a really cute cafe in the morning. And then mom went to go to the Notre Dame. I waited outside with our luggage because we couldn't take it in.
Oh, I didn't know she went
And
to Notre Dame by herself.
yeah, she couldn't. We were like, I was standing in line with her, and like right before we got in, a security guard was like, "So one of you guys has to wait outside, and then you guys can switch." And I was
Oh,
like, "Nah, I saw it a little while ago. I'm just gonna let her go in. She can spend as much time as she wants. I'm gonna go sit at the cafe over here and read and wait for mom to come out."
uh,
So, and that's what I did. So I was perfectly fine. So I was happy I had already seen it because I would have been a little disappointed.
yeah,
But and I got to see it when there was like no line,
yeah.
like totally fine. Like there was a lot of people, but um so I really got to see a lot of it. So I was totally fine. Mom seemed to have fun and enjoy it. Um and then we just kind of walked around Paris and until we had to go. And then on our way to the airport, a truck exploded about 20 cars in front of us. So, yeah. Did you freeze?
Sorry.
You
No,
look like you.
I got a message that I wasn't expecting. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I
We
was like, wait,
I
what?
guess we have fleas in the apartment.
Oh no.
So sorry. I was like, oh, okay,
Gross.
great.
So, anyways, like I was saying,
Yeah.
there was a truck that exploded about 20 to 50 cars in front of us. We don't know. And so while we were on the highway, 10 minutes before we were to the airport, and I had a train that was in like an hour and 30 minutes, and it was going to take me an hour to get there. And mom had a plane, but it was getting delayed. But we wanted to get her there early because oftentimes you have to go through customs to get out of Paris
Hmm.
and to go to somewhere international. And if you go through customs in the Paris airport, it can take hours. It can take 2 hours, easy. And that's on top of, then you also have to do security,
Mm.
which if it's at the wrong time, can be super busy. But no, mom like just basically walked to her gate. Like there was barely security.
Nice.
Um, and it was weird. But again, like I said, French security. Um, anyways, but then I had to like run to the train station. It was super stressful. Had an asthma attack on one of the trains because I was running.
Ugh.
And also because of the smoke from the highway, because we had sat on the highway for like 20 minutes waiting for the highway to clear up as this car is disintegrating and blowing up. Like literally, it was crazy, dad. And our driver was like, "Well, we're going to be here for hours. There's no way." She's like, "If we can't get out of here by the time the firefighters are here, we're just stuck here." But they were able to put it out really quickly.
Nice.
And I think the reason why they were able to put it out pretty quickly is because by the time they got there, it was done burning. There's nothing else to
nothing
burn.
left to burn.
There's nothing
I
else
saw.
to burn.
I
We
saw.
drove by it. We didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
We didn't know
I
what it
saw
was when we
pictures.
drove by it.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
that's
So,
crazy.
anyways, that's kind of we had a really fun trip. A little
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Definitely a little bit busy. But it was a lot of fun.
Well, good. All right. Well, that's a great recap of the deal. Sorry I missed it.
It sure was.
Sorry I missed it. Sounds like you had a good time with mom, though.
Yep. And now you have to come at some point by yourself.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think you should just. I think you should just move back here. It'd be a lot
I think
easier.
we should meet in Italy and bother Martina.
Oh, there we go.
I think
Yeah, we'll
I
just
think
move
you
in.
and I should go to Italy.
We'll just go. We'll just go and show up at Martina's door. We're here.
I love Milan. I would go back.
Yeah,
I think that's what we should do. I think we should meet in Milan
meet in
and then we
Milan.
should train or bus or whatever we need to do to get to um, Martina and just knock on her doorstep. And
Yeah,
be like,
no need to tell her we're coming.
we're here for a cup of coffee and some pasta.
Just where's the pizza place? We want to know where the pizza place
Yeah.
is at. What are you doing?
Uh,
We're going to the pizza place, and then we're gonna go clubbing with you. I brought my cutoff T-shirt and my short shorts. And we're gonna
That's
go
what we
clubbing.
should do. We should tell her. We should tell her. We're like, you're gonna have to take your dad clubbing. Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Yep. To be like that TikTok video. That's what all the kids are. That's what everybody's wearing. Oh, well, that's what I'll wear then. The short shorts and the belly button shirt. Let's go.
Have you seen, like, I love the dads that are like, oh, well, if this is the fashion, then that's what I'll do.
That's
Oh,
what
so
I'll.
like, but oh, is you twist it up and you twist up and you stick in the shirt like this? Okay. And he has like, the style where you like just tuck your shirt
Yeah.
into like your bra
Yeah.
kind of thing. That's really fashionable right now,
Right.
apparently. And like I've seen a few videos of like a dad being like, oh yeah, let me just, and like down the street is just like walking down the street and his daughters keep like pulling it
big
out.
hairy beer belly hanging out, tucked up under. Yeah.
You'd be like, it's like wearing a crop top almost.
You're
It's like,
lucky. You're lucky that the videos weren't popular when you were a teenager. I totally would have
oh,
done
you
that.
so would have done that.
I
You
totally
so would have
that.
done that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Show up at Sky Valley. Ready. Anyway, on that note, on that little unpleasant picture for everybody, I think we'll go
Yeah.
ahead and end this. Guys, good to see you. And
Have fun in White Salmon, Dad.
I think we'll catch you next week.
I think so. We'll try.